Hello, hello, hello. Good day, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Your girl is live. Good to see everyone. If you are catching the replay, type in replay in the chat. Type a replay in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm excited. I am live on all of my favorite platforms. So if you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment. Leave me a comment down below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you guys are watching me on Facebook or Instagram, throw me some hearts, and also let me know that you guys are watching live. Let me know the city that you're logging in from as well. I am logging in from Queens, New York, born and raised. So I see some people coming on. Hey, Brittany. Hey, sorry. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Kai. Hope all is well tonight. Hope all is well tonight. So I am really excited. First of all, if you guys are new to my page, let me introduce myself real quick. First of all, welcome to all of our new members. If you guys are joining me from the Power Circle group, welcome to all of our new members. My name is Janice Frederick Spell. I am the founder of this group. I am also the founder of the Beauty Supply Boot Camps program, and I'm also the founder of Fabulous Freddy's Beauty Supply, which was a beauty supply store that I started over a decade ago, here in Queens, New York. Here in Queens, New York, and so I started that store called Fabulous Freddy's. And the reason why I started my beauty supply store 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, was because I wanted to be a pioneer in this movement. I saw that there was a need for a black owned beauty supply store, but not really so much a black owned beauty supply store. Let me take that back. I saw that there was a need for a different beauty supply experience. So I was used to shopping with Asian owned beauty supply stores here in Queens, New York. I've never seen a black person own this type of business ever. And one day I was in a beauty supply store and I saw all these black women spending so much money and no one was paying attention to us. We had the worst service. And I'm a top tier chick, honey. I like all things black girl luxury. And I remember just going into that beauty supply store and just feeling really bad about spending all of this money with this establishment and not getting any type of recognition, not getting any type of experience. So that's when I decided to do my own thing and open my own beauty supply store. So I went on ahead and started my store. I looked around for some people that could help me. There was no Facebook groups. There was none of that 10 years ago. And so I really had to hit the streets and like literally find people who had stores. And I did a Google search and I found some people who had stores and I got some really, really interesting feedback from them. One person had a store and it was like a Caucasian type of store. So it was more like an Ulta type of store. And he sold more makeup and he sold more like nail polishes. So it wasn't like our traditional like black beauty supply. So I really couldn't listen to a whole lot of his information because his experience, his demographic, his product mix, his everything was quite different from what I wanted to do. And then I found a man, a Guyanese man who owned a beauty supply store on the literally on the other side of Queens, and I traveled out to him, and he had more of what I was looking to do. So I connected with him. I interned for him, meaning I worked in his store for 2 months. As he went back to Guyana, he trusted me that much and that fast that he literally left his store with me and my sister at the time, and so I was able to like see the behind the scenes and see everything that went into operating a beauty supply store, and literally opened mine a couple of weeks after he came back from Guyana. So my journey into beauty supply was very fast and very quick, because I'm a decisive individual, and once I have something in my heart, in my mind, I just go after it, no matter what the obstacles are. And so that's how I got started, and that's how I was really successful, because I just knew that I wanted to be one of the first people to come into this industry and really change the way that we do business here. And I literally I had the best experience in this industry, owning and operating a store. So we owned and operated those stores for 8 years, and then I went on to doing consulting, which is what I still do now, consulting full time in 2017, where I actually teach other people who are interested in this industry how to start and scale a beauty supply store, because there's literally no information out there on how to properly do it, especially if you are a person that looks like me. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about my journey. But if you hang around, you guys will hear all the stories. You guys will hear all the interesting things that I had to go through as I was an owner operator in this industry, now going into consulting and teaching people what I taught myself 10 years ago. But really, what I wanted to talk about tonight, which I don't talk a whole lot about, is really like the investment money, passive income side of this business. I rarely ever talk about this stuff because my heart is just so into it, and I'm just so passionate about this movement that I really forget that it is a $17 billion industry, and a lot of us are making a lot of money. And obviously, the Asians have been making money in this industry for as long as they've been making money in it, and they are very successful. They have become millionaires off of this industry, and for some odd reason, we have not been able to do that for ourselves. And then I feel like a lot of times it is because we are just so focused on the good faith of what we're doing, the behind the scenes of what we're doing, how we're helping Black women feel good about shopping in these spaces, and that's literally just all we're concerned about. That we really skip out on the money opportunity that we have in front of us, and the money opportunity that other cultures have been taking advantage of for the past 3 to 4 decades. Um, but one of the first things that I noticed about this business, and from an investment perspective, because I did start my store during the last recession, was this industry is recession proof. It is one of those industries that actually, when times are bad, your sales actually increase. And beauty in general, right? So if you look, if you follow like the retail dive and all those retail spaces, um the beauty category is one of those categories that increase during times of some type of economic crisis. So I don't want to say a recession, because even during COVID, we saw that there was an increase in the beauty category. Why is this? This is because a lot of people are getting laid off of work, or they were forced to, work from home, or whatever the case may be, because we saw this with COVID. And I'm going to mention COVID, I'm going to mention recession at the same time. And um, and when people are home, or when people are sad, when people are depressed, they want to do things to feel good. One thing that women do, and not just Black women, but women in general, we love to beautify ourselves, right? To lift our spirits, right? Because if you look good, you can feel good, and all that stuff. And so I saw this myself with my beauty supply store. Now, again, I opened it during the last recession, which was a mortgage crisis. It was a very, very bad recession. Unemployment was extremely high, the highest that it's been in something like 2 decades, like 20 years. And people were like, well, why do you want to start a business now? Like, this is a horrible time to start a business. This is what people were telling me. This is a horrible time to start a business. It's bad. Just don't do it. No one's shopping. That was not my experience at all. All the girls were shopping. The girls were coming in and they were saying, I'm going to spend this check, this unemployment check, on these bundles, okay, because I feel like I need this right now. Okay, and so what I experienced, and what other industries experience, is completely different things, y'all, different things. um and so, being recession proof and being an industry that gives you that stable income all year round. So the beauty supply store doesn't fall off. Like, we don't have a whole lot of seasonality. Like, we have slower times, but it's not like going to a beauty salon or going to a spa where there are times of seasonality where things are extremely slow, right? There's always a need for beauty products year round, whether that is in the summertime where you're deciding to rock your natural hair, the natural category just naturally increases. And then during the winter time, where people are bundling up or protecting their hair, protective hairstyling, that whole category, braids, weaves, bundles, that those categories naturally increase, right? And so you are really experiencing passive, stable income year round. I could tell you that for a fact, because I did it for 8 years. The other thing that I feel like we don't really take into consideration, especially when it comes to other investment opportunities. For example, real estate, or for example, opening something like where the initial investment is pretty high. The thing that I learned and that I loved about beauty supply was that you get that return on your investment very fast, because again, you're opening a brick and mortar business that is literally a necessity for Black women, right? So I don't know if you guys remember during COVID, but they were like, we're shutting all the stores down unless you're one of those like necessity stores. But it wasn't called necessity stores. I don't know why the term is escaping me. But unless you were a store where people absolutely need you, they were shutting all the stores down. But they didn't realize that the beauty supply store was one of those necessity stores for women of color. And because we still need our beauty supply store, all the stores, all of my clients, all the people, mostly all the Black owned beauty supply stores where we actually have relationships with our customers, we we actually thrived during the pandemic. We flourished, and we did essential. Thank you, good sis. Essential, right? The essential businesses. Um, that's what it was. And uh, they did so well. They did so well during the pandemic. And again, it was either you were working from home or you were laid off, unfortunately. And whatever the case may be, people were still going to the beauty supply stores. And I mention this all the time, like with service-based businesses, when things are tight, you are the first person to go. I'm not getting my makeup done professionally. I'm not getting my hair done professionally. I may stop with the Starbucks coffee. Those things are gone, but I'm still going to the beauty supply store because I will do my own hair and I will do my own makeup, right? And so that is the other thing that I really, really loved about this business, was that um, where people will cut corners on other things, they're just not going to cut corners on going to this business that is essential to them. Like the beauty supply store is one of those cornerstone businesses in every Black owned neighborhood, in every Black neighborhood. And I realized that during COVID, during the pandemic, that people were just like, listen, I may not walk into your store, but I will entertain the curbside pickup with my mask on, right? I'm going to do that, right? People were putting their lives on the line to come and get their beauty supply products. And that was just real. That was just real. Um, and so yeah, so that by itself, right? So me being able to go through the mortgage crisis and the recession and seeing how Black women still spent their money on their products, and then going to into the pandemic, which we none of us have ever experienced a pandemic before, but going into the pandemic and seeing how Black women would spend even extra on delivery service, and they would still go outside and kind of risk a little bit just getting their product during curbside pickup. Like, you really get to see that the people that spend in these spaces are people that look like us, right? There are people that who spend similar to us. So me, I was one of those girls who spent every almost every paycheck at the beauty supply store. I was there every 2 weeks, just because that was just, it's just my place of like peace and like relax. Like whatever I wanted to do that weekend, I was going to go to the beauty supply store first, get what I need to get, go back, get my wine, turn on YouTube, do whatever makeup thing I wanted to do whatever hair thing I wanted to do. Like this trip to the beauty supply store was everything for me. Um, so Uptown says she started during the last stages of, oh my goodness. and had offered delivery was everything. Yes, absolutely. And so there's so many people on here who are like, yes, I actually got into it during this time. And a lot of good stuff in the comments, y'all. I'm gonna read the comments later. But like I mentioned, a lot of us got into this industry during these trying times, and we survived. And we not only did we survive, but we actually thrived. And so that is one of the things that you also want to think about, even if you are looking into other industries to get into. Like, what is how's the business during a recession or some type of economic downturn? And then compare it to other industries. Beauty supply is still growing very, very rapidly. We're also one of the industries that we serve everybody. We serve men, we serve women, we serve children, we serve teenagers. It is one of those places where everybody in the family could literally go and shop. Not every industry could say that, not every business could say that. Um, but it's actually up to you to obviously carry everything for everyone in the family. But it's also one of those places where the family can go together and shop. Again, we mostly see moms shopping for everyone, but it's literally one of those places where if you catch a mom and she's buying something for herself, you can ask, "What about your husband? What about your daughter? What about your son?" Right? Because 9 times out of 10, that mom is going to shop for everybody at that time, right? And so I also really, really love it for that too, because I would say in the past 5 to 10 years, we saw an increase in men's grooming and men's self care and that entire category. I saw that myself. There was literally an explosion of men really coming themselves into the store. So they weren't sending their ladies anymore. The men were coming in, and they were asking questions about how to care for their beard, how to care for their face, how to care for their children's hair. And so we've seen an evolution of men's grooming and men's self-care over the past 5 to 10 years as well. So it's an ever evolving industry. It is also one of those industries that it just keeps growing. Um, when I started, I feel like there was like maybe a black owned store in every like major city. And now there's a black owned store in every county, right? And so we have definitely seen the increase of black owned beauty supply stores. It puts the biggest smile on my face, because being someone who was coming into it as one of those, the only person in the entire city, um, is great to see how things have changed, especially when it comes to like the vendors that we have to work with, and the racism that a lot of us experienced when we first started our stores to what it is now. And that is, thanks to just the evolution of more black owned stores, but also like the Black Lives Matter movement. This all happened at the same time with the pandemic. And then it was this huge, huge movement for people to support black owned businesses and also support vendors who also back and support their black owned beauty supply store. So there was a calling, and we called out a lot of the major hair companies to step up and change a lot of their business practices to actually give us some even playing field, right, for us to get in and to have a real shot at being successful in this industry. Right. So that was one of the biggest things as well. The other thing that I love about beauty supply is the flexibility that you get. Um, Unlike any other business, especially in the service-based field, you don't necessarily have to be there all the time. You're not the person that people are wanting to, come and shop with. And, like how someone may come in and they want to do their hair and they have a specific hairstylist or a specific makeup artist or a specific massage therapist. Beauty supply is like one of those businesses when you set it up and you train your people correctly. The store should really run on its own. I always suggest the owner still show up part time, because people still want to see the owner, and then you also want to keep eyes on your own business anyway. So it's best practices for you to be able to show up. But when y'all walk into the McDonald's, you're never going to ask for the owner. The owner 9 times out of 10 is not there to talk to you. And so what I always tell people who are in my programs or any client of mine is that you definitely want to come into this business with the mindset that you are this huge corporation, not this like mom and pop business where you just went from one job and then you just signed yourself up for another job with you like working behind a register or anything like that. Like I said, when you walk into McDonald's, you cannot ask for the owner. 9 times out of 10, the owner will not be there. Okay, so you definitely want to just treat your store the same way. And again, with the right training in place, you can 100% do that. Like after a while, um, I got married, I had children back to back to back to back. And so I wasn't in my store very often. And I was able to do that successfully because I had the systems in place, I had the policies in place, I had trained my people extremely well. They were really proficient at what they do. And most importantly, and this is not a conversation about employees or anything like that, but most importantly, the people that worked in my stores bought into the mission. They weren't just there for a paycheck, but they actually bought into the mission of what we were doing, the vision and mission of the company, and because of that, and because I hire people who really get the whole vision of the business and they understand the movement, it's not just working at a beauty supply store, but we're in this big movement of black owned beauty supply store owners trying to take over this industry one store at a time. um, you get to see how people really work hard for you when you explain to them what this is about, and why you're doing it and why you're here. So that flexibility is really, really fulfilling, really, really rewarding as well. And then again, it's passive. So I feel like if I was someone who was nearing retirement, or I was not so much retirement, let me not say that, but if I was someone like a service based provider, makeup artist, hairstylist, massage therapist, wanting to retire from actually doing the thing and getting into a business where it can run on its own, I really feel like beauty supply would be your next best step, 100%. We have so many, we've had so many hairstylists come through our program and open stores and still have spaces in the beauty supply for whatever service they were doing. And it worked out so well and so fabulous. I myself had a hair salon in my beauty supply store. So I know firsthand that if you do it right and you have the right things in place, that you can make very, very good money with a one-stop shop beauty supply business. Okay. Um, so there's that, right? There's that one-stop shop element that, especially in a place like New York City, where there's a lot of busy women, just a lot of busy people, and they're coming and going, and it's fast paced, and people need their stuff now, and they don't want to go to a million different locations to do whatever they need to do. I really feel like this is one of those business models that could really, really work very, very well for you. Um, I have a few more things that I want to talk about on this topic, but we are at 9:30, and I don't want to go over. But here is what I will say, y'all. We are coming to Atlanta in like 2 weeks or 1 week. I think we're 1 week away. We're coming to Atlanta in like 1 week for our Beauty Supply Bootcamp Conference. This is our annual conference in Atlanta, Georgia. It's 3 days where I'm going to be teaching you guys everything from A to Z on how to get started in beauty supply, how to create this passive investment for yourself, how to scale and grow it into multiple 6 and 7 figures, and then how to create an exit plan so that you can have generational wealth for your children. A lot of us don't like to look at our exit plans because we think that the store is going to be around forever. Um, but yeah, from when I say from A to Z, I mean A from starting all the way to Z, which is your exit, right? Um, I want you to be able to come to this conference, get the 3 days of learning everything, and literally take your business to the next level. So So if you guys go to beautysupplybootcampweekend.com, all the information is going to be there. It is April 27th through the 29th. I'm going to be teaching a lot of amazing new content. We have a lot of dynamic speakers coming out, not just myself, but a lot of dynamic speakers coming out within their specialty, within their niche. And man, it's just going to be amazing. So go to beautysupplybootcampweekend.com, beautysupplybootcampweekend.com. For tickets, we have payment plans available. We have all of the things. I just want y'all to come out and really get this information on how you can create your own beauty supply store in your community, so that you can so that you can live the life that you want to live, whether that is someone that's going to be in the store every single day, or maybe someone that's in the store maybe once a month, whatever it is. DM me, guys, if you have any questions about anything. DM me. I'll check these comments. I see a lot of comments in here, but I'll check these comments on the back end and try to get back to you guys if you guys have any questions on anything. We will be actually going through startup costs, and I see there's a lot of questions about scaling and all that stuff. We are going to be talking about scaling and growing the business, because it's not just about starting, it's about actually making sure that the business stays in business. Because it's easy to open, it's actually hard to actually stay open, right? I was going to make a little joke about marriage, but let me not joke about that. But yeah, so scaling and growing the business, increasing your sales, making sure your conversions are right. I'm a big numbers person. If you hadn't noticed that, y'all, I'm a big numbers person. And so we're going to be talking about all things numbers, spreadsheets, growth metrics, and KPIs as well. So if you have a beauty supply store, you definitely want to take that trip down to Atlanta um, to get this information. All right. So, guys, it has been nice talking to you. I see there's so many new people on here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Go through the page. If you guys are on YouTube, watch all my YouTube videos. There's so many gems on there. But most importantly, if you're not a part of our Power Circle group, which is my free mentorship group over on Facebook, if you click the link in my bio, um, you can sign up for free. All right. So, good night, guys. Good to see you guys. And I hope to see you in Atlanta in 2 weeks. Have a good night.